Now, have you ever had your car misdiagnosed and you're trying to figure out what's going on? Well, let me tell you, we're going to go over code P0, 171, and 174, which are lien codes, as well as a P0, 300 through 308, which are misfire codes. Now, in my personal opinion here, the most commonly misdiagnosed component is the one we're about to talk about. Stick around, let's go ahead and get into it. Now, as I was saying, the most commonly overlooked component is this right here, the intake manifold with gaskets. Now, even though there's going to be other components that can cause these codes to come up, this is the most commonly overlooked component. Now, on the late model vehicles today, most of these have plastic intakes and they can be over-torqued, causing gasket issues or cracked plastic intake runners. You can also run into something like this here, where the actual gasket is totally just shredded and it's going to create a vacuum leak. It's going to turn into drivability problems, high idles, surging, all kinds of things like that, as well as your lien code and or the misfire codes. What you're looking for here are these gaskets around each port. If they are deformed, twisted, torn, anything like that, as well as could be a hairline crack in the plastic. So something like this here is something that you could do at home, in your driveway or in your garage. They look a little bit complicated to do, but with a little bit of time, patience, and the proper tools, you can go ahead and replace this part yourself. Now, if you're gonna go ahead and replace that part from 1aauto.com, this is what you're gonna get. You're gonna get the plastic intake manifold, and you're gonna get the gaskets all around the runners here. They're all fresh, clean and new, ready to install. That's going to seal up nice and tight for you. Now, we have those parts at 1aauto.com. You can go ahead right there and check out your year, make, and model and buy what you need for your vehicle. Get your car all fixed up. Now, at this point here, let's go ahead and go through some diagnostic procedures here to find out if this is the part you need. Now, you're probably figuring, hey, how do I find out what my intake manifold is and where to locate it? Well, once you get your hood open, you want to go ahead and start by locating your air filter box. Right after that, you're going to see an air intake tube followed by a throttle body. And then right after that is going to be your intake manifold. Now, what we're looking at here is a 4-cylinder engine, and you have 4 intake runners. Now, if you have a 6-cylinder, you're going to have 6 runners. And if you have a V8, you're probably going to have a much larger intake manifold that has 8 runners on top of it. So generally, there's 2 different ways we can go ahead and test this. Number one is we can rent a smoke tool, and what you do is you hook it up to an intake tube somewhere, and the machine itself will pump smoke into the engine, and wherever there's a leak, you're going to go ahead and see smoke coming out. It could be a gasket or a crack in the intake manifold. The second way is if you have a shop vac that you can actually switch into reverse, put the hose on the opposite side of the machine, you want to go ahead and go to the brake booster, and you're going to locate one of the hoses that comes around to the intake side, and you're going to take that hose and tape it to one of the hoses. So you're going to disconnect the hose, tape the vacuum to it, and the vacuum is actually going to be reversed, so it's going to be blowing air into the engine. Now, at that point there, you go ahead and flick on the vacuum, which is now blowing air into the engine, and take a bottle of soapy water and spray it on top of the intake manifold. At that point, you're going to look for the bubbles or anything like that that might be coming up, because the air is going to be coming up through that leak. You're going to see the bubbles. You're going to be able to identify exactly what port is actually bad, if it's a gasket, if it's an intake. At that point there, you can go ahead and replace the components as needed. Now, if you've done your diagnostics and you do find you need an intake manifold, check us out at 1aauto.com. Go ahead and get that part ordered up. Once you get that part installed, don't forget to clear those pesky codes on your dash. At that point there, wrench on, my friends.